And I'm pleased to be joined by both the Jameses from James and the Cold Gun.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, good. How are you guys?
Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, chilling. Yeah, we're practicing as a band for the first time in ages.
All right.
Trying to we all summer we just played football in the park, and now we've got to try and relearn our instruments. Yeah.
Well, it's been a busy summer for gigs as well, though. So you're not completely out of whack. Hopefully.
I do that.
So for anyone unaware, can you tell us a little bit about James and the Cold Gun?
Oh, where do we start? We are a no frills, energetic rock band from South Wales, which is in the UK. Which is Wales is its own country for anyone who doesn't know. I don't know. I don't know if you have any listeners from outside of the UK.
Yeah, there's a few, but you'd like to think that they already know that, but who knows?
Yeah.
There's five of us now, so we make a lot of noise.
Yeah, of course. Oh no, I saw you at Trees with five of you. I think last year it was four, wasn't it? So
that's right. Yeah, yeah. All the help I can get playing guitar, to be honest.
Oh well, obviously, those big guitar riffs is sort of a focal point of you guys as well, isn't it? Like, it's a really big thing of your sound. I get a lot of like Queens of the Stone Age sort of vibes as well. I assume that's one of your main influences.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I played that first Queen's album, the self-titled, like over and over and over and over. But funny enough, we saw we saw in Swansea the other day, Nick Oliveri did his acoustic tour.
Oh, cool.
Pretty mental, yeah.
It's just him like screaming into a mic, just unashamedly. Just he did some like a cappella songs as well, and it's like he's got his acoustic guitar and he obviously plays. But yeah, there's some songs where you just literally stand there and just scream down a mic to like a room full of like 40-year-olds.
It was great.
Oh, that does sound amazing too.
Yeah, too.
So you guys released, was it your first single 2019, She Moves? Is that the first one?
Yes. Yeah.
Back when the future was a lot brighter.
Yeah.
We'll release a song and then we'll tour the world. But that didn't go down like that, did it?
No, I was going to say, obviously, yeah, just as you're starting to get into a bit of a stride, the big COVID happened. How was that for you guys? Because you guys live together, don't you? Is that right? Yeah. So I assume it was probably a good time to get lots of writing and things like that done.
Yeah, that was all we could do really to keep ourselves sane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up just demoing a load of tunes. We made a video for one of the songs, just literally like on a phone, because obviously we couldn't like do anything with anyone.
Yeah.
Went down the pier at like 3 o'clock in the morning and recorded and like edited a video like that night.
Yeah, I saw a few bands did that. There's just sort of like, we're allowed out of the house for like, was it like half an hour exercise or something? You're allowed something stupid like that. It's like, right, let's record a music video.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It felt like the pandemic years. It was like a nice time to kind of figure ourselves out and exactly. I guess the first few years of any band, you're kind of figuring out what it is that you do. I think every band starts off being more of a copy of like your favorite bands, and then you learn to kind of make that your own thing. And I think so in some ways, as annoying as it was not being able to play as much, we did a lot of figuring out, which was cool.
There's a lot of like you said, there's a lot of writing you can get done in that time and sort of work out what works, rather than trying to write it in between playing like tours and gigs and things like that, because so much more time to get onto it basically. So 2022, that's the year. 2020, who says it like that? I don't know what. Too tired, I don't know. 2022, there we go. It's obviously been a huge year for you guys as well. You released your EP False Start back in April.
That's right. Yeah.
I think I read as well that it'd been a long time coming, where you sort of, I assume a lot of that was written during COVID and then just holding off until you could get out again, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of where the name False Start came from. It was like It was a bunch of songs that we planned to release them and then just start playing as much as possible. But instead, we decided to hold off a little bit. It was actually the recording of those songs was technically like our first time we played together as a band. Like we recorded live in a room. So it was a cool experience. But yeah, it was. We were sitting on them for ages. It was probably painful.
So you all recorded them all together then?
That's right. Yeah. We went to a little studio in Essex, and our drummer who played on that EP, he lives down there, so had a little studio by him. Made some noise in the room together.
I think that's where it probably gets it's something a bit different about your sound to a lot of like the recorded stuff. It sounds more like energetic, and like the live recording is obviously where that comes from.
Oh, cool! Cheers, man. I'm glad that
to it.
That was definitely like a goal of ours.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing we really didn't want to do was go in a studio and like put a billion guitar layers on this and like.
All guilty of doing that.
Oh yeah, like 20 vocal harmonies, so it just sounds like this massive but like unreal song. And like we wanted you to be able to like play the record and like come see us at a show, and it just be that but louder. Probably this.
There's a lot more rawness to it, isn't it? Which is like it's some of the best albums out have been just like the raw sound to them sort of thing. I know a lot of like the old Steve Albini stuff was very. That sort of vibe, wasn't it? So it's definitely cool to see it still being done, and being done very well as well.
We sort of like we sometimes like feel the need to tell people that we do it like that as well, because like it feels like there's so many bands out there now where like if you took away their backing track or if their laptop kind of went down during a performance, they would crumble. Whereas we like the idea of kind of, being as good of a band as we can, and then maybe adding that in like years down the line. There's nothing wrong with kind of expanding. But I think if you start with that, it's I don't know, it doesn't feel as like organic.
I know I've always been a fan of that where you could just literally just play it. Like no, I mean like all the bands we play in, like no click or anything, no backing track, just like you're getting the full energy of the band sort of thing. I think
it was cool.
It
was cool when we saw you guys play, because it was like every member of your band you could kind of like, there was like separation between the parts. So you could tell if one person wasn't there, it wouldn't be the same. Whereas some bands, you don't even know if anyone's even playing anything.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those, and you sort of look and you're like, is they actually playing that bit? There was a big band recently, wasn't there? I can't remember who it was. There's someone that's doing like a big show, and all the laptops went down, and they're just like, sorry, we can't play.
Falling in reverse, yeah.
No, that was it. Yeah, they're sort of like, well, there's not much we can do, and it's some bands do really rely on that, and it does add something to it. But like to me, I like if there's like a little bit of back in, I could take that. But I've seen some bands where it's like mainly back in and like backing track sort of thing is live music essence, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's like the same show every time then. Because everything's like all the gaps are the same. Like every song's the same tempo. You can't jam anything out. You're really just in that thing. Whereas like we play a show, anything could happen. Like someone could fuck up at some point. This could happen. You could accidentally like speed up for like a riff section and just take it somewhere else. Like
that's what I like about not playing with a click as well, because you can do that. You can extend bits. I think when we played with you, I think my bass pedal broke, so we just kept like. I think we just like made that a little bit longer, just so I could try and sort it out, sort of thing. But like you said, you can go faster, and when you're feeling the energy as well, you can pick up the pace, and the crowd obviously feels that as well, don't they?
For sure.
So as well as obviously the EP, you've done a few cool tours as well, out with Creeper and Vukovi. You did your co-headline tour with Snake Eyes at the beginning of the year. That seems so long ago now. You also did your EP headline tour, didn't you? You played at Hyde Park for the Pearl Jam show.
It's not bad, is it?
You've done loads, didn't you? And of course 2000 Trees as well, which was just amazing. That tent felt so packed in there.
Yeah, we were stoked. We've been big fans of Trees. Like we've been many times as punters, and like I think Trees is like the perfect festival for like alt rock bands like ourselves. Like it feels like the kind of you know how it feels like what Reading would have been like back in the day, like before any of us were old enough to go.
Yeah. Yeah, there is something really nice about trees as well, just like the atmosphere there. I think where it's smaller and you just like walking around and like you're mingling with like the bands and things like that. I mean, I think I went in 2019 and Dougie Pointer was playing bass for A, and he just happened to be getting food in front of me. I'm like, it's Dougie.
yeah, madness.
Oh, well, obviously, like I said, it's been a busy year. How has it felt for you guys? Have you felt like you've progressed a lot? Because obviously, to everyone else, it seems like all playing some huge shows, releasing your EP, loads of like your singles as well. It feels like it's been a real progressive year for you guys. How's it felt from your side? Do you feel accomplished?
It's always chasing the dragon really with this kind of thing. Like you do something great, and the next day you're like, well, what's the next thing we can do? Like, how can we like better that? And it was like, how can we do our show better? Like, what do we need to write this kind of song? Like, but it's that you do need to step back. Like here, when you say it all in like one go, you need to step back and be like, to be fair, like we have had
for sure.
We have had a good year. We made a lot of memories. Like,
yeah, you can get caught up. You can get caught up in that stuff. It's a cliche like saying, but they say to like enjoy the journey or enjoy the process rather than always thinking about the results, because otherwise you're just never going to be content.
I mean, like I said, when I was putting together some notes for this and like looking at all the things you did, like I remember when you were on tour with Snake Eyes, and it seems like years ago almost, and it was only 9 months ago, 10 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. You saying that is actually, yes, it's mad. It's nice to feel like we've crammed a lot into a year, because I swear there's been other years of my life where just like a year goes and I haven't even got one memorable sort of thing, whereas this band has brought us so many of those, which is, I guess, like in a way, like memories are like our currency. Like we feel like we're very lucky to have done all that stuff.
I think if anything, it like, because last year once we could play our first show, and like that kind of all, I think it was like August, and we did a headliner in Cardiff, and the rest of that year we did a lot of touring. We were out for the whole month of October with Will's other band, Salem. Yeah, we were out with like them for like a month. And we had like weeks of touring beforehand and like after. So like it felt like the end of like last year, we did like so much that when you come to this year and it's like it's still busy, but it's like not as like chaotic as last year. I'm like, dude.
I think the end of last year was a lot of bands just being like, right, we can get out again. Let's
yeah.
I mean, I think in October, I think I played like 6 gigs in a month, and now it's like one every couple of months or something, like a bit more sensible, because most of them were in Bristol as well. So trying to get all your mates to come along to a gig every other week.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we're all getting older as well, our mates like have lives now.
Yeah.
So they don't go see us play gigs.
Especially when it's like a Tuesday night or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are obviously here to talk about your new single, Chewing Glass. Obviously, you've had no slowing down because the EP was only a few months ago. I assume, as that was like you're waiting on the EP for a bit, I assume this track was maybe written quite a while ago as well, or has it been?
Yes and no. So we have an album that's done.
That was going to be one of my later questions.
Oh yeah, so you get a scoop on that. It's one of those things where it's like, it's not necessarily a secret, because I think every band is always working on something.
Yeah, you assume there's something down the line as soon as singles start coming out, really.
So Chewing Glass we were having a real writer's block between the EP and the album, and Chewing Glass was the first song in ages that sort of got the approval from both of us. Like we had so many ideas that kind of maybe one of us liked more or the other person liked more, just things that weren't quite right. And then one day out of nowhere, Chewing Glass kind of happened, and we were like, oh, okay, this is something we both like. This let's just get this one done. And then that kind of unlocked like a whole sort of month of like making good progress on like a bunch of new songs. So really, it wasn't that long ago, but we've done like so many songs since that it does feel like long ago. But yeah. So loads of new music coming soon, hopefully.
I also like the little throwback in there. I think it's the first verse or second verse where you got is it false start with no second chance. Like the first time I heard that, I was like false start. I'm like, yeah, I see what you've done.
Cool. It's nice.
I assume you intended to do that.
Yeah. That's it. Nice.
That's like one Greg.
Yeah. As soon as I heard that, I was like, I see that.
we'll have to try and throw it into like another song now to keep you.
Yeah, keep me on my toes.
Harder.
Well, so obviously, what's the story behind Chewing Glass, like lyrically? Obviously, I get sort of like it felt like dealing with life's troubles and like whatever's thrown at you, just sort of keep on going. Is that the sort of idea, or am I?
That's it. Yeah, I mean, it was. Often find with lyrics, for me anyway, I can't speak for anyone else, but often find with lyrics, you kind of put them together, and then by the time the song's done, you realize what your subconscious was trying to tell you. Like, I think generally speaking, there was a point where I was like, I don't know what any of this is about. And then you start to like deconstruct each line and realize, yeah, it's kind of like the verses are very much someone almost like talking to themselves in a mirror, like say, like, bruised and bloodied up, sort of thinking like, life's got me beat. And then the chorus then is that kind of like plea to Lady Luck saying like why haven't you, give me a break sort of thing. And then by the end of the chorus, it's like, well, because I'm going to keep on keeping on. That makes sense.
I was gonna say a lot of your songs they sort of it's not a hidden meaning, like they're sort of quite obvious, but it's really nice lyrically how you go around it, like a lot of
oh cool, thank you.
It's really cool. Anyway, so my next question was going to be if there's an album coming up, so are you expecting that 2023
annoying? Well, yeah 23 for sure. We're not sure when yet. This is the biggest issue, and I think every band is facing this, is like the lead times to get vinyl made.
I've seen a lot of albums announced for like summer and like late summer, and like usually you'd announce them like a couple months sort of thing. So I've seen a few, like I think Skin Dread announced like August, I think it was, something like that.
Oh really? They've announced something already that's not until August.
When they released they released their single and then announced the album coming August next year, and I was like, that's like, you never hear of it being that long. Yeah, and I think Ruse announced one as well for sort of summer, like late.
Oh, cool. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's a weird one because like I think every artist would say this, but like if it was up to us, we'd just release it now while we still kind of like, or we still love it. I feel like in 6 months, the way it always goes is like in 6 months' time, we'll have some new stuff that we're really excited about, and like every artist, we think our new stuff is the best stuff yet. So
I suppose the good thing with the lead time though is that it, like something that like I know for me, like you said, you sort of want to get it out, but at least because you can't like sort of chuck it straight out, it gives you a bit more time to release some more singles and get some more traction and sort of like radio play and stuff like that, because a lot of the like becoming relevant on radio and on Spotify and everything is sort of getting those singles out and getting the videos out and things like that. So I suppose it's good in that aspect. Have you sort of lined up a few singles along the way, or not quite decided yet?
We got the we got the next thing coming out decided. We got plans for that. We'll be shooting a video start next year, I think it is, with Harry, who did the Chewing Glass one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he killed the Chewing Glass one. We're so happy with that video.
Yeah.
We're hard to please as well. We're like notoriously like hard to please. So we're glad to find someone who kind of just
puts the same wavelength in the air.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah, we're in some ways we're like, we just want to get an album out so people have a bigger body of work to just chuck on, and I think there's this thing that like in some ways like people don't really take you seriously until you've got an album out. Do you know what I mean? It feels like that's a band's first like statement of like, we are here and we're here to stay. Because there's so many bands that drop like an amazing single or an amazing handful of singles or an EP and then they're gone forever. Whereas it feels like once a band puts an album out there, they're sort of here to stay for a little bit.
Especially if it's like a vinyl or something, like people have got that physical thing as well, haven't they?
Yeah, I think that's the point where you really see like sort of a fan base start to happen. Like people decide that it's like a good time to like properly invest in the band. I guess they can trust that you're in it for the long haul.
Committed to releasing the big things.
Yeah.
Well, before the year is up, you've obviously got a big Cardiff show coming up. Is that next week?
That is, yeah. It's just
week tomorrow.
Crept up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Like we sort of, we weren't going to do anything. Then we kind of got excited. We just love playing. Like the sensible thing to do would just be to like disappear for a bit and like, you know, try and hold off. There's that whole kind of like supply and demand vibe when it comes to playing your hometown. But we were just like, oh, come on, let's just get in a small sweaty space and have some fun before Christmas.
Looks like it's going to be a real like end of year blow off.
I hope so.
And cool supports as well. I'm not familiar with the venue though. What is it? Buffalo? Yeah,
so Buffalo used to it used to be a venue, say about probably like 6 or 7 years ago now. Was around the time it closed, and then it's got new ownership, and they've decided to turn it back into a venue. For a while, it was just another cocktail bar or whatever. It's how it goes, isn't it? But luckily, they decided to give live music another punt, which is cool.
Yeah. I saw I reckon it was about 10 years ago, probably, when I was in uni, and I saw Dinosaur Pilot play there.
Oh, that's so cool.
Support was Tiger Cub.
Oh, nice.
They literally just released, like, I say just released, they had a 3-track EP that they'd hand like printed and like just written the tracks on. And I saw that band, obviously I loved Dinosaur Pilot at that point, and they just released the I think it was Nature Nurture, that album, like the yellow cover. They just released that. It was like that tour, and they played this like tiny thing, and I brought this band out, and I was like, I just had the best evening. It was like, it's such like a small kind of place where you can just get stuck in.
I was say, what's the capacity like? Is it quite a small room?
Well, they say 150, but really it's like 100.
Especially the best though, aren't they? I love like those small venues where like go into a gig as well. It's just like you just feel so much energy in that room.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what it's all about for us. It's like, you know, if we get offered some big things, we'll take them. But that is where it feels like our home for the moment.
But it's the energy you bring as well that definitely fits a nice vibe sort of thing. I know I've seen a few big bands play like smaller venues, like is it the Music Trust thing they do? I think I saw like the Darkness playing at the Fleece in Bristol sort of thing. So
sick.
It's like cool. A smaller venue. Like usually you'd expect them in like huge places, and they're playing like these small things. I think Enter Shikari did one in a similar size venue as well, and it's like seeing these bands in places you wouldn't expect to. It's just
for sure.
We saw Wolf Alice in Sin City.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, nice.
That was nuts.
I think they looked like they enjoyed it more than ever. It's almost like I'd love to be a big band to then do stuff like that. Like I dream of the day where like Cold Gun could play a show in like Brecon in the middle of Wales, where there's never usually shows, but bring 100 people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've always thought the same. Like go back to like my little town that I'm from, and just like play a random like that pub's got a stage. Let's just turn up there and like just sell out this place. I think that's the real dream. It's not stadiums. It's little venues that you wouldn't be expected to go.
Let's go. Let's book it.
Yeah. Well, have you got much more planned for 2023? Obviously, you've got the album, potentially singles. Have you got any sort of tours lined up at the moment?
So that's something we're looking at the moment. We're in a weird position where like it feels like there's not as much of a scene for like. Say there definitely is. So I'm contradicting myself here, but there's not as much of an obvious scene for rock bands in the UK. I feel like you know things like metal or metalcore or emo or pop punk. I feel that there's very obvious groups of bands that all seem to sort of come up together. Whereas with rock, it seems like there's sort of like a handful of bands who are sort of slowly sort of on their way up, and then there's absolutely massive bands. it's hard to find things in between that would be good for us.
We are.
What's that? Sorry.
Sorry. We are going to America next year.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Well, play over.
Yeah, we're doing South by Southwest.
Nice. That's so cool.
In March we'll be in Texas.
Anything
on 2023? I don't know.
Got too excited about the thought of playing your little town.
Yeah.
It's going to be. I don't know if I'm speaking for just myself, but it's going to be our first time. Like, it's going to be my first time ever in America.
No, I've never been. Yeah.
It's going to be our first time ever being in America, let alone playing it. So I'm excited to drink like a massive soft drink and like some weird food.
Yeah.
And then play a show.
Are you planning any other shows over there? Are you going to try and do a couple?
We've got a US agent at the moment, and we're looking to kind of do some things around it. So we'd love to do either the 4 months before or the 4 months after. It's 4 months.
4 months. 4
weeks. Whoa! I would love to do that anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. Just some time before or after, and make it kind of worth going all that way.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like visas and things as well. It goes from being able to do South by for £20 per person plus flights, then to you're talking $6,000 plus for visas to play any other show, even if it's a backyard of some random person's house.
That's why with the festivals like that, they sometimes do. I think there's one called Fest, and they sort of do a official pre-show sort of thing. So a couple of the bands play I don't know 10 miles.
Right.
They do things like that. So might get a similar sort of thing. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that'd be wicked. Yeah, because really, unless you're doing a full-on, unless you're at the point where you are on a really good support tour, there's no point paying for the visas to do a headliner out there where you'd be playing to a handful of people for the first time.
Well, anyway, thanks guys for coming on the show. I'll let you get away and watch the football. And that's in the UK. Separate country though.
Soccer.
Well, obviously we're going to play your new single now, so if you want to go ahead and introduce it.
We are James and Nicole Gunn, and this is Tune Glass. Enjoy.
Oh, nice.